Hi guys, welcome back to Chit Chat with Chip. In this video, I'm going to be walking you guys through my £100 beginner's stock portfolio. So if you're like an OG at investing, you'll know that £100 is not a lot at all. But the reason I started with £100 was because I literally just wanted to start investing. I wanted to start somewhere. That is what I was willing to lose. Obviously, I don't want to lose £100, but if I was going to lose anything from investing, I'd rather lose £100 than £1,000. So that's the reason I did it. And basically, I had been using a platform, so it's Trading 212. I'd been using the practice mode of that brokerage online platform, and I did that for about just under 2 months, I think it was, and I practiced it. I tried to get my head around it. I wanted to see the ease of it, how good it was, and basically to see if I understand what was going on in it. I knew that when I was going to start investing, or as I go along now, this for me is a long-term plan. It's not just something that I'm going to keep picking at stocks and shares or buying stuff and trading it every 2 minutes. I'm actually going to invest in things that I want to keep for long term in order to hopefully see some growth and to maybe have a little bit of an income from dividends and stuff like that. But we'll talk a little bit about that later. When it comes to stocks and shares, the terms can be quite confusing if you hear them a lot and you're not really understanding what people are talking about. But in general, stocks is a more generic term. It is often used to describe a slice of ownership in one or more companies, whereas when you hear the term shares, that is more specific, and that it often refers to ownership of a particular company. So there's a really good video that Veronia Spaine does, and I'll put a link down below where she explains it in really easy terms, easy for everyone to understand. I'm not really going to go into the terms in this specific video. I am just going to go through my stock portfolio at the moment. The platform that I've chosen is Trading 212. So if I go into the app right now, you'll see that I'm actually investing real money there at the bottom. There is the option to practice, and they give you, I think it's £50,000 for you to practice trading, buying ETFs for however long you want. Then that way you can get a feel for it, which I thought was really, really good. And that is one of the reasons I chose Trading 212, because it gave me that chance to be able to sort of get my head around it, to learn a little bit more about it. You're not losing any money by investing fake money. So the reasons I chose Trading 212, one, because of the practice mode. 2, for me, I found it very easy to use. I also have a Freetrade account, which I'm not going to talk about in this video, but I can do another video on that. So if you want me to do that, make sure you click the like button, make sure you subscribe to my channel, and drop a comment down below. Then at least I know that you actually want to see that. Trading 212 has a lot of stocks that you're able to trade into and invest into. It also has 0% or £0 commission fees, which means that I don't have to pay anything to use Trading 212, whereas with other sort of brokerage firms or companies, you might have to pay a fee. But obviously, as a complete beginner, I didn't want to be paying any fees. I'm still learning about the returns and what impact that will have on me. So yeah, Trading 212 for me was perfect for that. It also has a 0 fee on the stocks and shares ISA, which I am in the process of researching and looking into to find out what's best for me. If Trading 212 stocks and shares ISA is the best option for me, or maybe looking at a different stocks and shares ISA. It also, like I said, has a lot of stocks that you can trade into, invest into, and a lot of ETFs that you can invest into. So ETFs are exchange traded funds, which I do have a definition here for you because we ain't about to mess this up right now. When you buy into an ETF, you're not buying shares of a company's stock or bonds directly, so you don't own a part of that company or any of their stock. You're putting your money into a fund that buys a basket of stocks and shares. So it buys shares into a lot of different companies. So you're buying into the fund, you're not actually buying into the actual assets that that fund holds. And a fund is basically a group of people or investors putting their money together in order for that fund to invest into the stock market. So that's what ETFs is. There is a lot of information online, which I do suggest that you do your own research. Again, as I've said, I am a complete beginner. All the research that I've done is my own research, and if you're going to invest, you need to do your own research. The first thing you see when you go into my Trading 212 portfolio or account is you see my watch list. That essentially has all the stocks and ETFs that I have put into the watch list. And the reason they're in my watch list right now is because I want to do a little bit more research into them before I invest in them long term, because once I've invested in them, I am planning to keep them for like the next 10 years to the next 15 years. Obviously, there will be some maybe individual stocks that I might sell and trade at different times, but when it comes to ETFs, I want to make sure that I've made the right decision and I'm investing it for the long term. So for some of you, you may know that I'm a biomedical scientist, so I am leaning a lot into investing in healthcare. I've got a few of those in my watch list. I've got the iShares UK dividend, Thermo Fisher. I also have dividend stocks. Basically means that a company that you invest in or a stock that you invest in will pay you as a shareholder a percentage of your investment back as a dividend. So that's something good if you are looking to have a little bit of an income from investing in stocks and shares. So as you can see, Kodiak Biosciences on there. The good thing about this is it gives you a graph and shows you the performance of how a particular stock is performing and how it's doing. So obviously there's some that are in red and there's some that are in green. You do have some of the big companies on there, so like Amazon and Netflix. I'm just watching them for the bands. We'll see how they perform in the future. If I can afford to invest in them, I will invest in them. But again, what you invest in is your choice. It does categorize at the top there. You can see there's popular stocks, there's US stocks. It breaks it down for you, making it nice and easy for you to choose what you want to find out a little bit more about. It's got your UK stocks on there. It's got the new stocks on Trading 212, and then it also has your ETFs. So if we go up here where it says £115.36, so it's actually 7 a.m. in the morning. The stock exchange opens at 8 a.m. So this number shouldn't really change, but if this was live and it was trading right now and the stock market was open, that would probably fluctuate as I film this, but at the moment it's just at £115.36. And as you can see, my portfolio is now worth £114. I've got free funds of 60 pence and my account value is £115.36. So that's the total of those two, free funds and portfolio put together. And at the top there, it shows you what accounts you can hold with Trading 212. So you can have a CFD account, you can have a Trading 212 Invest account, which is what I'm currently in, and then you can have a Trading 212 ISA, which is what I am looking into potentially investing in. And the reason for that is because an ISA is basically like a tax wrapper, which whatever that goes into your ISA account, and any interest you earn on it and any profit you make for it will be completely tax-free. But that is something that you would have to look into to see if that is the best decision for you. If we go into my portfolio, so by clicking this little pie chart at the bottom, it will show you, it will bring you to my portfolio, which will show you exactly how much I've invested and currently what my returns or losses are. And right now my portfolio, as I said, is worth £114.76. Now it's showing that my return right now is up by £7.56, and this was also the same yesterday at closing. So this might change at 8 a.m. today, but this was not like this 2 days ago. Guys, this has been red for the longest time. In the last 2 days, I don't know what's happened. Like the UK has actually gone into lockdown again, so I don't really know what's happening with that, but it's quite nice to see that the return at the moment, very, very small, but it's up by 7%, which is equivalent in terms of what I've invested to £7.56. So as you can see there, I've invested £7.20. Now the reason it says £7.20 is because I actually used someone else's code or link to sign up to Trading 212, and it actually gave me a free share of about £7.20. I actually only put in £100 in here, which I'll show you a little bit later. But as you can see, the first thing that you see on there is a graph of how my portfolio is doing. So if you can see, 1 week ago it was not like that. Listen, it was, as you can see, minus 46 pence. Then it went up, it went down. That there is the 31st of December, it was up by 54 pence. That there is the 3rd of January, it was down by 46 pence. And that there is the 5th of January, it was up by £1.24. And yesterday, it's up by £7.56. So it does go up and down throughout the day and throughout the year. And the good thing about it is that you can actually look at how your investments are doing for different periods. So you've got 1 year there. Obviously, I haven't been trading for 3 months, but if you did, you'll be able to look back on how it's doing for the last 3 months, for the last year, and for the maximum. So for me, it's only been a month that I've been using this account, so that's why I haven't really got a lot of information on there. So when we go down, you can see all of my investments now. So at the moment, a lot of these are actually individual stocks, and individual stocks can be a little bit riskier because if the company does well, you do well. But if the company goes bust or something happens, obviously you may lose money. So this is why I've said that I want to invest in ETFs, which are looking at a range of different stocks rather than just one. But some of these are ones that I was actually practicing with in the practice mode. So I decided to actually buy them as I just try it out with my £100. Watchlist is now worth £10.85, so it's up by 54 pence from when I bought it. So I've got 7 shares in Watchlist. Boohoo is another one that I had when I was practicing, and it was doing so well as I was practicing. So what I'm going to do is click on it. Actually, it was doing really well as I was practicing. It's only gone into the green in the last few days. I don't know what's happened, but it wasn't doing that great from the time that I invested in it. So if I look at my portfolio last month, as you can see the graph, it's going up and down, up and down, up and down. So I have 5 shares in Boohoo, and I think that was about £15 it cost me, and right now it's up by £2.42. So if I go down, the good thing about Trading 212 is if you click on a stock that you've invested in or you want to invest in, if you go down, you can go into the company's details and it'll give you a little bit information of that company, what they do, what they're involved with, and maybe sometimes the brands or other sort of companies it works with. Which is really good, because then you don't always have to go to the search engines to look at this information. There's a little bit of information there. It will give you the number of employees, who the CEO is, and the sector that it's in, also the industry. It also gives you a little bit of financial information, which is what you should look at if you're looking at investing into stocks and into shares and into different companies. So look at the financial information. It will give you financial summary, which is great. It will give you a statement. It will give you all the different things about how the performance of that stock is doing or the company is doing. And then if I go into my history, this is specific to what I have done with it. So it basically says that I bought 5 shares of Boohoo on the 4th of December for the price, which was 316 pence. And the total that it was what I bought it for. So as you can see, that was £15.85, and it is now worth £18.27. So that is Boohoo right there. I've also invested in CBAC Energy Technology. A lot of these, as I've said, I invested in them in the practice mode. So CBAC was doing really well in the practice mode, and since I've actually invested into it, it has not been doing well at all. I know that the pandemic last year had a massive impact on a lot of businesses, but that's okay. I'm not worried. I will look at potentially selling this share in the future. What I normally do is I go to a search engine and actually look at different companies, different stocks, in order to see how they're performing, to see their financials, in order for me to make an informed decision about what I want to do. So exactly what I'm going to do with the ETFs is to look into what those ETFs are invested in. And you will find that with a lot of ETFs, they might overlap, and different brokerages will actually invest and track the same ETF. So for example, the S&P 500. If I go back to my portfolio again, so I've also invested in General Electric. Now I mentioned about my free share. General Electric was a free share, which up until yesterday or 2 days ago, it has not been doing well, but at the moment it's up by 45 pence. I've invested in Genesis Healthcare. I do work in healthcare, and that is something that I do want to invest in. So Genesis Healthcare is up by 14 pence. Again, this is another one that has not been doing that well. Kingfisher, I thought it was Thermo Fisher, which is a science stock, but Kingfisher is actually a different company. This is why, guys, be careful when you invest in, knowing exactly what you're investing into and the background of that company. So Kingfisher is actually a home improvement company, and I was actually quite happy with it. It hasn't been doing well, but I think it's something, even though I bought it accidentally, it's something that I'm willing to invest into long term. So I am actually going to leave that one, and as I've said, right now it's up by 12 pence. Lloyds, it was doing well when I was practicing. It hasn't been doing that well since I actually invested into it, so it's down by minus 20 pence, which is 4% of my investment. I invested in Secure Income, which funnily enough, I've actually got Secure Income in my Freetrade as well, but it's doing really well in my Freetrade account, but not so well in my trading 2-on-2 account. So that is down by 4p, and it hasn't actually been doing that well at all, but I do only have one share in that. I've also invested in the S&P DR S&P UK dividend stock, which is actually an ETF, sorry, but that is one I'm going to keep on there and just keep an eye on it and invest into it a little bit more. So with ETFs, a lot of them, when you go into the history, the history is what you've done with it. So I bought a share worth £10.24 in that one. But when you go into the instrument details, it won't give you as much information as an individual stock would give you, but it will give you the name, give you the name of the exchange that it's on. So this one is the London Stock Exchange, the currency, the sell price, the buy price. When you click onto the full name or even just the name, you can copy that name and then search that and find out a little bit more information on that ETF or that stock. I've also invested in Unique Fabricator. Now this one I've been really happy with since I bought it. Click on Unique Fabricating. As you can see, in the last sort of week, it's just risen. I have 3 shares in it, now worth £13.94. My return at the moment is it's up by £3.58, which is equal to 34%. That's one that I'm really happy about, and I've read into exactly what it's about, and that is one that I'm happy to keep as an individual stock long term. So I'm going to keep that one for now, keep an eye on it and just keep adding more to it. I've also invested with Vanguard FTSE Development. Let's look at the full name. The Vanguard FTSE Developed Asia Pacific excluding Japan ETF. Now I wasn't again planning on investing in this one, but when you look at this name, you can see that because I'm using my phone, you can't see the full name of it. So be very careful when you are using your phone and using the apps. You're not going to see the full name of the ETF or the stock that you want to invest in. And some of these Vanguard stocks or ETFs have the word, start with Vanguard FTSE Development, so they can have very long names. So development could be developed Asia, could be developing world, for example. So be careful when you're looking at buying and selling. So when you go down here, you can see the allocation of my account. The biggest part of my portfolio is the Vanguard FTSE Developed Asia Pacific excluding Japan, and Boohoo makes up 15%, Unique Fabricating makes up 12%, Barclays makes up 9%, and so on. So that will change obviously from today to when I next show you guys. If you want to see more of that, tell me. So if you go into the search engine, this is where you can search what stocks you want to invest in. You can either put in the name of that stock or you can put in a sector. For example, if you put in healthcare, it will bring up loads of different healthcare stocks and ETFs. So you've got Change Healthcare, iShares Healthcare Innovation, which is actually in my watch list. You can also look at technology, you can look at sports, you can look at food and drink, all different things. And then one of the other things that you can do when you're looking at searching is the most popular stocks. So Apple, Tesla are way up there, Amazon is way up there. You can look at dividend paying stocks and ETFs. So these pay you to invest in them. So these are all the ones that give you dividends. You can look at growth. So if you're looking for a return and long-term investment, you can look at volatility, you can look at ones that are speculated to do well or not to do well, and then you can browse all. So that was stocks. Now we're looking at ETFs. So there's a few there that you can invest into. You can search different ETFs. So for example, if I search the S&P, you can see there the S&P 500 is tracked by a lot of different brokerages. So Vanguard has their own, iShares has their own, Invesco has their own. So what you need to do again is to do the research into which one you want to invest in. There's different reasons for investing in different ones. Others are, some you have to pay for. Look into which one you want to invest in properly and then go for it, or don't go for it. I'm not a financial advisor. So when you search for an ETF, you will see the same ETF by a lot of different investment groups or investment providers. So it's up to you which one you decide to go for. So you need to look at all the information about that provider. And then if you go into those 3 lines over there, it just gives you some information of other things that you can do on Trading 212. So if you want to get free shares, I will put my link down below. If you want to join Trading 212 and use Trading 212 as a trading platform, you can use my link and we both get a free share. That's up to you. It also has a new thing now, which I find really interesting. I'm not going to go into it now, but it's a pie library which you can look at. And for me, I'm going into it for a lot of information, looking at what other people are doing, and you can choose to copy someone else's pie. So a pie essentially is somebody has made up what they want to invest in. It can be either following dividends, it can be either following a specific sector, it can be following specific growth that they want to see from their investments, and they create a pie for that, and that allows you to basically auto invest into a pie. And basically you can set up a direct debit where every month you're just putting in some money into the same pie that you've created, and you don't actually have to do any more than that. It's all passive, and basically you just keep investing into the same things every single time. So they're broken down into different things, but I think it's a great thing. I love it. I go into it and I read how other people are doing, what other people are trying to find out. If I'm trying to find out the same thing, the answer may be there, so it's great. You can manage your funds, obviously depositing and withdrawing, which is free on here. So if I go into deposit funds, actually, it does tell you there that the following payment methods are free up until you deposit £2,000 in total. So 0.7 fee applies thereafter, and that's basically to cover them for using the different payment systems, but they're not charging you for actually using Trading 212 or anything like that. Another good thing about Trading 212 is the fact that it has investing videos for educational purposes for beginners. So that essentially is my investment portfolio and how it's been doing. And like I said, I put in £100, I got a free share of about £7, and my portfolio is now worth £114, which is not bad considering I'm a beginner and I haven't actually invested a lot into my portfolio. The next time you see this, or if you see this, it will be worth a lot more. As I said in my previous video, I'm looking at putting in £100 every single month at least into my stock portfolio, and I want to see the growth of that at the end of the year. If you guys want to see that, I can keep you updated, but you need to let me know. So like this video, subscribe to my channel, and make sure that you comment down below if you want to see more of this stuff. But for now, that's where I'm going to leave it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll put all the links for anything that I've mentioned down below. If you want to sign up to Freetrade or to Trading 212, I'll put my link down below, and we both get a free share, which is great. Thank you so much guys for watching, and I'm hoping to see you guys in my next video. See you later. I just hit my lip.